I'm the other Thornton that's late and doesn't follow directions. Hey, Kaz. Settle. Right here, right here. Settle. Thank you. This has been hard to write. When Christiana asked Ginger Leonard and I to participate in the monologues, I did not hesitate. I really thought we had this great story to tell about how we're the first openly lesbian couple to conceive in our fair city. But this is not the story I bring tonight. My life has changed, and there is no wife here to story with. It's me. It's me and the stupid fucking disease, Alzheimer's. Actually, it's another dementing illness. Frontotemporal dementia, probably. But nobody can really tell you until after you're dead and they could open your brain. They don't even agree on what causes it. It sucks and it changes you. It's changing me and it's changing everyone around me. Dementia for me has been a slow darkening of the edges of my life's vision, going from blurry to dim, to dark, to black, and then gone. I first noticed this mental blurry black area when I was driving as a social worker. With 25 very high-risk clients. If they didn't show up for their appointment with me, I had tracked them down. I was driving to a patient's home in a town that was very familiar to me when suddenly I didn't know where I was. Like a web page that's loading, but nothing's happening. But I was moving at 65 miles an hour on a freeway with no sense of where I was or where I was going. Pop! In a bubble. And I can see everything, but nothing makes sense. I called my secretary, and she told me who my next client was. I grabbed a map out of the seat pocket and got my head together. I was rattled, but I shook it off. This happened sporadically a few more times that year. I had always had an excellent sense of direction and navigation prior to that, so this change was noticeable. Turns out that it's common for people with early onset dementia. A year later, I was standing in the hallway at work and my secretary walked in. I was completely lost. I was probably standing there with a chart in my hand, but I had no idea what I was doing or where I was. And it was the first time anyone had ever seen me experience the darkness, the pop. I was diagnosed. My wife tells me it was 2004. At that time, I never knew when dementia symptoms were going to show up, but I had cognitive reserve skills that helped me cover any gaps, and this is how I adapted for years. Stuff that's helped me: chronic caffeine consumption, peer-reviewed journal articles, look it up. Routine, hydrating, water is your friend. Marijuana, and I'm a good dealer. Intermittent fasting, side effect of shitty drugs they give you. You lose weight, you can't eat, oh, it's good for your brain. Diet modification, a hot tub, the best thing my mother-in-law ever gave me. Good friends, and my amazing service dog. At the beginning of my illness, I had a very busy career, school-aged kids, rehearsals, and practices. It was too much for my day timer to keep track of, so I got the first electronic personal data assistant, a PDA. No one knew how heavily I relied on my damn Jornada, but it kept me organized and functioning professionally at work. Technology eventually caught up with my navigational needs, and we got a GPS. William, our youngest son, who was about, I don't know, he might have been 11 then, he and I tried it out on a trip out of town. One dark and stormy night, seriously, on an unlit back road in nowhere, North Carolina, the damn TomTom map went crazy and glitched, rerouting about 1 million times. After I finished screaming obscenities at the navigating bitch in the box, he tried to calm me down with, "Mom, it can't hear you, and even if it could, I don't think it would understand. Shut the fuck up." I can assure you that Siri does hear, and she does understand, and she will respond when you say that shit to her. "Diane, if I could, I would blush." My life is currently marginally managed by a desk-sized wall calendar, iCalendar, Google Calendar, Pocket Life app, Google Maps, reminders, alerts, alarms, Siri, and Alexa, but it is not enough. Technology is no substitute for a human brain, and definitely not a substitute for a human helper. At this point in my life, I need a personal assistant, a care partner, to look at all those things and back time, plan my day, and then give me milestones and reminders to reach them. Someday, even that won't be enough, and I'll figure something else out, but eventually, I will not have the insight to solve my own problems. That day is quickly approaching. I already struggle to assess and adapt. It can take hours or days, and sometimes never. When I cannot trust my own reality, it is an Alzheimer's paradox. I am curious about what is happening, but confused and fearful about what I do not understand. Communication can be so hard. Words tumble and fall, flying around my brain. Grabbing them like keys in Harry Potter and organizing them is sometimes entirely too much for me. The confusion is terrifying, and when I am scared, I panic, or I become paralyzed. My words don't make sense, or I get confused and lost in the telling, and then I have an unsettled feeling, something's wrong, something's happened, and I do not know what it is. I do not know what I said. I do not know what I did. And the look on my family's face when that happens. Some techniques that are working now. Calming music, Alexa. Incense and aromatherapy, marijuana. Full spectrum lighting, my garden and sunshine. Moderate temperature, I hate cold, I get cranky. I have a dedicated, personal, safe space, my studio. Today, my life is small and beautiful. I stand here rejoicing that our children are launched with great careers and healthy lives full of friends. We have intergenerational friends. It's really interesting when you party with your kids and find out they had sex before they tell you. It's really fun. I am grateful that I lived to finish my job as the supportive, long-suffering MLGW spouse until my wife retired from her career. I wasn't sure I'd make it this long. I am wrapped in the thickest blanket of loving friends and family. I have humans to share time with when I'm up for a conversation, and a few special people who I enjoy spending space with or hiking in the woods with. But what I mainly need now is quiet. Quiet music, quiet energy, sunshine, peace. Because for me, Alzheimer's is a darkness, and it is winning more each day, every day. But before I got to this point, I had a good run. I met and married and made LGBTQ history with a dynamic woman. I have friends around the globe, and I've been fortunate enough to travel and visit some of them. I have volunteered thousands of hours and enjoyed every second of paying it forward. I have met and made friends with some amazing humans in this process. Some of you in this room. When I needed it most, the universe gave me a gaggle of drag queens ready with a quip, a laugh, a drink, and a song, and a makeover. The drag queens taught me to accessorize the hell out of Alzheimer's. Bitch, you gonna take me down, but I am gonna look fabulous when it's happening. And the greatest joy of my life is that I had the honor and privilege to plan and become a parent to two brilliant souls. Maxwell and William survived our worst attempts at parents and are radiant humans today. My soul soars when I think of them. When they were homeschooling, we traveled a lot, and we built a hiking trail everywhere in Tennessee and Missouri. Trails they can walk when I'm gone and say, I helped build that with my mom. I know with each step, they will feel the light of my love for them and how grateful I was for the time that I had with them. Thank you.